Hello everyone. Let us continue with our assessment of first 7 5-year plans. Let us take a look at industry and trade. Economists have found that poor nations can progress only if they have good industrial sector. Industry provides employment which is stable than employment in agriculture sector. It promotes modernization and overall prosperity. Therefore, the 5-year plans placed a lot of emphasis on industrial development. We have seen that during pre-independence era, the industrial base was very narrow. Industries were limited to cotton textiles and jute. There were only two well managed iron and steel firms, one in Jamshedpur and other in Kolkata. But we needed to expand the industrial base for development of India. Public and private sectors in Indian industrial development. Big question facing policymakers was what should be the role of government and what should be the role of private sector. At that time, Indian industrialists did not have enough capital to undertake investment in industrial ventures, nor was the market big enough to encourage the industrialist. It is principally for this reason that government had to play extensive role in promoting the industrial sector. In addition, the economy the decision to develop economy on socialist lines led to the policy of government controlling the commanding heights of the economy, as the second 5-year plan puts it. This means government would have complete control of those industries that were vital for economy. The policies of private sector would be complementary to the public sector. Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956. In accordance with the state controlling commanding heights, the Policy Resolution of 1956 was adopted, and this was the basis of second 5-year plan. The plan which tried to build the basis for socialist pattern of society. This resolution classified industries into three categories. The first was the industries which would be exclusively owned by the government. Second category, in which private sector could supplement the efforts of public sector, with government taking the sole responsibility for starting new units. The third category was uh, third category was for private sectors. Although there was category of industries left for private sector, it was kept under control through system of license. No new industry was allowed unless a license was obtained from the government. This was used for promoting industry in backward regions. It was easier to obtain a license if industrial unit was established in an economically backward area. Also, these units were given certain concessions like tax benefits and electricity at lower tariff. The purpose was to promote regional inequality. We have seen earlier that pre-British during pre-independence era there was regional inequality. For example, in Bombay, Madras and Bengal presidency there were cotton and jute industries, but in other parts of India there was no industrial growth as such. Even an existing industry had to obtain a license for expanding output or for diversifying production. This was meant to ensure that quantity of goods produced was not more than what the economy required. License to expand was given only if government was convinced that economy required larger quantity of goods. We have seen the correlation between quantity and price of goods. As the quantity becomes scarce, the price of goods rises. Small scale industry. 1955 In 1955, Village and Small Scale Industries Committee, known as Karve Committee, was established for for finding out the possibility of using small scale industries for promoting rural development. A small scale industry is defined with reference to the maximum investment allowed on the assets of a unit. This limit has changed over the period of time. In 1950, the a small scale industrial unit was one which invested maximum of 5 lakh rupees. Now that amount has become 1 crore. It is believed that small scale industries are more labor intensive. They use more labor than large scale industries. Large scale industries, the operations are automated. They use robotics, AI, machine learning, etc. Therefore, they generate more therefore small scale industries generate more employment, but they cannot compete with big industrial firms. Therefore, it is obvious that development of small scale industry requires them to be shielded from large firms. For this purpose, government reserves reserve production of some products for small scale industry, and the criteria was their ability to manufacture those goods. There were also some concessions like lower excise duty, bank loans at lower interest, etc. Trade policy, import substitution. The industrial policy that India adopted was closely related to trade policy. In first 7 plans, trade was characterized by what is called an inward looking trade strategy. Technically, this strategy is called import substitution. It aimed at replacing or substituting imports with domestic production. For example, instead of importing vehicles made in foreign country, industries would be encouraged to produce them in India. In this policy, government tried to protect domestic industries from foreign competition, and there were two forms in which this protection was given. First is tariff and quotas. Tariff are taxes on imported goods. They make imported goods more expensive and discourage their use. Quotas specify the quantity of goods which can be imported. The effect of tariff and quota is that they restrict imports and therefore protect the domestic firms from foreign competition. The policy of protection was based on the notion that industries in developing countries were not in the position to compete against the industries of developed economies. It was assumed that if they were protected, they will learn to compete in the course of time. Our planners